How impressive is Brees' success at the age of 40?
He's unstoppable. He hasn't slowed down. To continuously do this year after year after year after year. And, you know, to come out like that at home and start their season off like that with a last-second win, that's what you need at that age. You need a little bit of, you know, you need something to add a little pep in your step to motivate you each week. So it was great to see them do that.
Nick's our show historian, so he gives us all these numbers. Brady at 42. Man, no one's played as good as Brady did since George Blanda. Blew my mind yesterday. And then we see Drew Brees, Sunday night Brady, Monday night Drew Brees. Carson, I know your brother. He does a lot of training of the quarterbacks coming into and also the veteran quarterbacks. Is what we're going to continue to see? These veteran quarterbacks playing 38, 39, 40. Because based on the way the rules are and everything, should we get used to this?
I think so. I think the quarterback's the most protected position on the field. You cannot pile drive quarterbacks. Every time you see a quarterback get hit now, you see him looking up at the ref for a potential flag every time they're getting hit. So you're going to see him get hit less and less. Guys don't want to get fined. Guys don't want to get kicked out of the game for hitting the quarterback. So you're going to see quarterbacks, and now that with all the, you know, dietary things, all the training things, all the, you know, the advantages we have today in 2019, guys are going to continuously play into the 40s, early 40s.
Chris says it all the time. It's never been easier to play quarterback in this league, and he's not talking about compared to Blanda's era or even compared to the beginning of your era. He's talking about like the beginning of your career to the end of your career. I don't know if you thought you were the best quarterback you've ever been in the last couple of years, but the closest you ever came to winning league MVP was your second to last season or third to last season in Arizona. I think statistically your best season, that really great Cardinals team that you had. How different has the game been from when you and Drew and Tom came into the league, which is around the same time, and how it is right now or right when you stopped playing?
Yeah, and I think the main thing for a quarterback is you need reps, you need experience, you need a bunch of situations, down by 6, up by 6, third and long. You know, you need those reps, you need that kind of experience. You look at Drew and you look at Tom and you look at some of these guys that are playing into their late 30s and into their 40s. They have more reps, they have more experience doing it. You're protected more. You're not playing on AstroTurf anymore like CC was back in the day. So you're going to see these quarterbacks having, you know, great success at the end of their career.
And when you, real quick, when you said you need the reps, it felt like last night Brees got the ball, 25-yard line, 37 seconds, one timeout. He had already mapped out in his head exactly how that drive had to go because he's probably had almost that exact carbon copy situation before. Maybe not with a kicker who can hit a 58-yarder, but knew exactly where he had to go on the field before it even played out, right?
Well, and he also knew, you know, at the very end of the game, he's been seeing the same looks, the same disguises from the Houston Texans. I'll bet Drew knew his first 3 plays. So he's on the field. It's 2 minute. They're not huddling up. He's calling the plays. He knew exactly what he was going to get to, and he probably knew he was going to throw his #1 read, when to call the timeout, when to clock it. He's been through that. There's just the reps, repetition, repetition, repetition.
And it's why we say the game has gotten so much easier. It's like you say, Tom Brady, who knows all the answers, so why stop playing at this point? How good can this offense be once AB is up to speed?
It can be great. I don't like the fit. I know you really like him being there. I don't like the fit. He's going to have some great games where he has 10, 11, 12 catches for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. But then he's going to have some games where he has 3 targets and 2 targets and 5 targets. And he has to be able to give up those catches, give up those touches, and fit into the system. I don't like the fit. I also don't like his fit with Brady. Brady needs precision. He needs a route that's run at 12 yards. Every time a guy runs a curl, it's at 12. Sometimes AB's at 10, sometimes he's at 14. He freestyles it sometimes to get himself open. I don't like that fit with Tom Brady's style.
And the reason with AB doing what he was doing, we had to schedule you because a lot of people just forget what you went through in Cincinnati with the wide receivers that you played with. Now, Carson has always said great things about him. But I remember one time Marvin Lewis called me and said, Chris, man, I believe we can get a championship here. We got a few guys. I want you to come in and talk to the team leaders, maybe give us a couple little helpful little pointers of how this team can come together. I sat down with Carson. I sat down with the other team leaders, too. Chad Ochocinco didn't show up to work that day. So Carson, it was basically me and Carson kicked it. I found out Carson was a great leader, and there was things going on that was out of Carson's control. So as these diva wide receivers, it's not make-believe. We wear the quarterbacks out, and you just don't like the fit because you know Tom. and you know what they've operated. But what I've been telling them is you're going to be shocked because of Belichick. All right? He is a disciplinarian, and if you don't have that, the quarterback and the other players in the locker room, they don't have a chance. So I believe in Belichick. I talked to Randy Moss before he went to New England, and he had a different attitude. He didn't like what I had to tell him before he went. But when he stepped into the door at New England, he did everything the right way. I believe AB is going to do that, Carson.
We'll see. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. We'll see. I don't like the fit. I think the social media thing and the Patriot way.
There's no doubt. I totally agree
set in
with
his ways. Once you create that monster, which was created in Pittsburgh, it just takes off and runs. You can't then all of a sudden start pulling the reins in. I don't like the fit. I don't like the match. I think it's going to be really interesting over the next month or so to see what happens.
We hear guys say all the time one of the things you said, but I don't know if we've ever had someone explain why it's so important, which is if a route's supposed to run at 12, Tom expects it to be run at 12, and if you run it at 10 or if you run it at 14, it screws the whole process up. As a quarterback, when you can rely on a receiver, even if he doesn't have near the talent of AB, to be where he's supposed to be, what does that do for you? And on the flip side, even if a guy's super talented, if he's not where he's supposed to be, what does that take away from you?
Yeah, I mean, you look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady is operating on level 10 of 10 levels. So pre-snap, if he's got a curl on the right side of the field, he's using his eyes, he's manipulating the defense in order to get the ball to the curl route that's supposed to be run at 12 yards on a certain rhythm and timing. When his eyes and he's manipulating and working his way to that curl, and that curl's not ready to catch the ball because he's going to run it at 15 or 16 yards, or he already ran it at 9 and he's sitting there waiting on the ball, that's when interceptions happen and incompletions happen, and that's not going to fly with Tom.
And what about the subsequent conversation with Tom or with Josh or with Belichick about him not doing that? How do you think he responds to that?
I think he sits in the meeting and goes, yes, sir, yes, sir, yep, yep. And then week 2, week 3, week 4, he gets 2 or 3 targets. He doesn't have any catches, and he's being outshone by Dorsett and Edelman, and that's not going to fly. I don't see it meshing well.
Now, the one thing that I don't like, because the way this contract is situated is he has some tiers. He's got 3 $1.5 million bonuses on catches, yards, and touchdowns.
So his money is tied to his production.
Yeah, so now that doesn't blend into the Patriot way. Last year, Belichick gave Gronk and Brady incentives.
Neither of them met him.
Neither one of them were able to. So, Carson, you know I respect your opinion. And Carson brings up a lot of good things from the quarterback's perspective. But the only thing that I override it is Belichick. And we're not going to hear about it. One day he'll be gone. It's just like Josh Gordon. What happened? Oh, he must have flunked the drug test because the next day he was gone. The team didn't address it and everything. I do share your same concerns. But right now, because AB is hungry to play football, when you take Nick Saban told me, hey, Chris, I can make kids do things their parents can't make them do. I was like, how's that, Coach? Because I got what they want. I got that thing called the football. So I do believe in his love for the game that will be enough to get him back out there. But I do respect what you're saying. You make some valid points.
I hope so, but it's either 15 million or 10 million. And in AB's head, although that $5 million is in incentives, he's thinking he's making $15 million this year because there's no way I'm not going to hit my incentives until he only has 2 targets in week 2 and 3 targets in week 4.
Because Belichick doesn't care. He doesn't care.
No, and the last little thing, Nick, what the wide receiver going into an area before he's ready, that's why Ben was mad about the interception.
The one
when he broke in, he was supposed to take 2 steps, which in turn the DB breaks. The linemen, it makes them break sooner, so everything is off. Carson, tell us what you're here in New York, and we're very, very grateful. This is your second time visiting the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm representing FedEx on the NFL Air and Ground Players of the Year award this year. And we're off to a great start. Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott on the air side. On the ground, Marlon Mack in Indy. So it's going to be a great year. You can vote on NFL.com/Twitter. You can vote, or also vote on NFL's Twitter page. It's going to be an exciting year. Last year, Patrick Mahomes won it. Yeah. It was really cool to see Saquon won it for the ground. So it's going to be a great year, and I'm really excited to follow it.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.